That random act of kindness you just accepted might actually be a psychological leash. Most people see a favor as a bridge. The strategist sees it as a tether. Every unsolicited gesture, every free piece of advice, and every small gift creates an invisible ledger of social debt designed to keep you in involuntary servitude. In the game of influence, there is no such thing as a free lunch, only a deferred invoice with predatory interest rates. Stop letting people buy your future loyalty with small, calculated gestures. It is time to break the silent leverage, burn the invisible ledger, and reclaim your absolute autonomy. Welcome back to the Archistrategist. 1. The mechanics of the invisible ledger. In the modern world, we are taught to obsess over financial literacy. We track our credit scores, our bank balances, and our investment portfolios. But the most dangerous form of debt isn't found in a bank statement. It's found in the social ledger. Social debt is a psychological currency. It is the primary tool used by the nice guy, manipulator, and the corporate Machiavellian to bypass your logical boundaries. In a standard financial transaction, the terms are clear. You pay X amount for Y service. The transaction has a beginning, a middle, and a definitive end. But social debt? It is governed by strategic ambiguity. There is no contract. There is no interest rate disclosure. There's only the heavy, unspoken weight of, I did this for you, so now I own a piece of your future. To understand why this trap is so effective, we have to look at our own biological hardware. We are descendants of survivors who lived in small, interdependent tribes. In that environment, reciprocal altruism wasn't a choice. It was a survival necessity. If a tribesman shared his hunt with you during a famine, and you refused to help him later, you were labeled a social parasite and exiled. In the Pleistocene era, exile was a death sentence. Modern manipulators are social hackers. They have learned how to trigger this reciprocity reflex, a deep-seated biological itch that creates a state of psychological tension until the debt is repaid. When someone does something nice for you, your amygdala sends a signal of obligation. It overrides the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and long-term strategy. You stop asking, is this person good for my goals? And start asking, how can I pay them back so I stop feeling guilty? This is where the Archistrategist sees the hidden math. The manipulator understands the law of asymmetrical value. They give you something that costs them very little, perhaps a small bit of information, an introduction to someone they already know, or a minor convenience, but they frame it as a monumental sacrifice. Because the price of the favor was never negotiated, the value of the debt is whatever the creditor says it is. You might accept a $5 coffee today, only to find that 6 months from now, that coffee is the interest they use to guilt you into working a weekend for free or supporting a business decision that violates your integrity. They trade pebbles to harvest diamonds. Every social circle has one, the shadow debt collector. This individual operates under guise of the ultimate helper. They are the first to volunteer, the first to offer unbiased advice, and the first to send a congratulations gift. But look closer at their behavior. They don't just give, they deposit. Every act of kindness is a strategic deposit into their account of influence. They aren't looking for friendship. They are looking for leverage. The shadow debt collector keeps a meticulous mental ledger. They remember every door they opened for you, every secret they kept, and every time they stayed late to help. They don't want to be paid back in kind. They want to be paid back in compliance. They wait for the moment you are about to make a move that asserts your independence, and that is when they remind you of their past kindness. It is a high-interest loan that you never asked for, cashing in at the exact moment you can least afford to pay. The genius of this ledger is that it is invisible. If a bank comes to collect a debt, you can see the paperwork. If a social creditor comes to collect, they use the fog of niceness. They use phrases like, "I thought we were a team. After everything I've done to support your career, I didn't think I'd have to ask you twice, considering." This is weaponized guilt. It is designed to make you feel like the bad person for wanting to be a free agent. By making the debt invisible and the repayment emotional, they ensure that you can never truly balance the scales. You are trapped in a cycle of social refinancing, where you keep performing small tasks to appease them, but the principal balance of the debt, your total autonomy, is never actually reduced. 2. The anatomy of a Trojan horse favor. In the digital age, the Trojan horse has evolved. It's no longer just a physical gift. It's an unsolicited LinkedIn recommendation. It's a shout out on a podcast. It's a connection made on your behalf without your consent. These are micro investments in your future compliance. By accepting the clout, you have unknowingly signed a contract of permanent obligation. How do you tell the difference? Genuine altruism seeks the benefit of the receiver and then disappears. It does not remind you of its existence. It does not bring up the past. Transactional kindness is performative. It is always documented. It is brought up in casual conversation 6 months later. "Remember when I helped you with that report?" That sentence is a debt collector knocking on your door. Watch for the nice gesture that feels like an unvoiced contract. If someone helps you and immediately follows up with a "by the way," the trap is set. If the favor makes you feel smaller or indebted rather than empowered, it is a weapon, not a tool. We are deconstructing the very fabric of social influence. If you want to master the hidden laws of power and strategy, you need to be part of this community. Subscribe to the Archistrategist now. Hit the notification bell. Because in the theater of life, you are either the architect or the building material. Now let's look at how these favors are eroding your very ability to choose. 3. The erosion of personal autonomy. Every social debt you carry is a filter through which you view your choices. When an opportunity arises that requires you to say no to a debt holder, you freeze. This is decision paralysis. Your subconscious is terrified of the social stigma of being ungrateful. You aren't making decisions based on your 10-year plan. You're making them based on who you owe this week. There's a massive cognitive load in tracking social debts. Who did I thank? Who did I buy a drink for? Who helped me move? This internal ledger causes a specific type of fatigue that dictates your daily choices. It leads to compliance by exhaustion. You eventually just say yes to whatever they ask because you're too tired to calculate if the debt is paid yet. Most people pleasers are actually just victims of a massive accumulated social debt. They are in social bankruptcy. They keep giving and giving, hoping to finally clear the ledger, not realizing that the people they're trying to please are the ones who keep moving the goalposts. It is a survival mechanism to pay off imaginary debts that never truly clear. For strategies for radical self-reliance. To reclaim your autonomy, you must adopt the mindset of the Archistrategist. Total clarity over social ambiguity. 1. The clean slate policy. Prioritize clear, paid transactions over ambiguous favors. If a service is offered, ask for a price. If a gift is given, assess if you would have bought it yourself. If not, decline it. Value a receipt over a thank you. A receipt means a transaction is closed. Thank you means a ledger is open. 2. Actionable scripts for graceful refusal. You don't need to be rude. You need to be precise. The professional block. I appreciate the gesture, but I have a strict policy of not accepting outside help on this project to ensure the lines of accountability remain clear. The social block. That's very kind, but I prefer to handle my own arrangements / travel / costs. It keeps things simple for me. 3. The psychological shift. Value your autonomy more than your reputation for being agreeable. Being agreeable is just another way of saying easy to manage. Real respect is earned through boundaries, not through being a convenient recipient of other people's tactical kindness. 5. Living in the debt-free social economy. The clarity of the sovereign mind. When you finally burn the invisible ledger and operate from a position of zero social debt, the first thing you notice is the silence, the constant background internal noise, the mental tallying of who you need to call back, who you need to appease, and whose feelings you need to protect, simply vanishes. This is what we call strategic clarity. In the debt-ridden economy, your vision is blurred by the ghosts of past favors. You look at a business deal and think, is this good for me? But immediately your brain interrupts with, but if I do this, will I offend the person who helped me last year? When you are debt-free, you interact with the world based on current value and mutual respect. You judge every proposal, every meeting, and every person based on the present moment and future potential. You are no longer a historian of your own obligations. You are the architect of your own interests. This clarity gives you the ultimate power in any negotiation, the power to walk away. You can leave any table, any partnership, and any room that no longer serves your mission because there are no hidden anchors holding you in place. The architect's network, attracting the unbuyable. There is a common fear that if you stop playing the favorite game, you will become isolated. The reality is the exact opposite. By rejecting transactional manipulation, you begin to build a high-value network that 99% of people will never access. True power players, the real archistrategists of industry and influence, actually loathe unsolicited favors. Why? Because they know that anyone who can be bought with a small gesture can also be sold by their enemies for a slightly larger one. When you set hard boundaries and decline Trojan Horse favors, you are sending a high-frequency signal to the elite. You are signaling that you are not for sale. You value your autonomy over temporary comfort. Your loyalty is earned through shared vision and merit, not cheap social bribes. This filters your social circle with surgical precision. The manipulators, the shadow debt collectors, and the emotional vampires will find you cold or difficult and move on to ease your prey. In their place, you will attract individuals who operate on the same level of radical independence. These are the people who will tell you the truth, respect your no, and engage in partnerships where the terms are transparent and the respect is earned. The physics of social speed. Why do some people climb the ladder of success while others seem stuck in the mud of being nice? It comes down to social friction. Every social debt you carry is a pound of weight added to your backpack. If you are dragging away 1,000 small favors, the thank you notes you owe, the awkward dinners you must attend, the subpar contractors you use because they are friends of the person who helped you, you are moving through life with the brakes on. In the debt-free social economy, you operate with zero friction. Your decision-making process is streamlined. You move faster because you aren't waiting for permission from your creditors. You sleep at a level of peace that the people pleaser can never know because your conscience is clear and your ledger is empty. The long-term psychological dividend. The end goal of the Archistrategist is true independence. This is not just financial. It is emotional and cognitive. Reclaiming your leash means that your sense of self-worth is no longer tied to how helpful or agreeable others perceive you to be. You realize that niceness is a social lubricant, but autonomy is a hard asset. By choosing the latter, you invest in your long-term mental health. You eliminate the resentment that inevitably builds when you feel forced to say yes. You replace the anxiety of being found out as ungrateful with the confidence of being known as principled. Operating from a position of true independence doesn't mean you never help anyone. It means that when you do give, it is a conscious choice, not a debt repayment. You give from a position of strength, and you expect nothing in return because you, more than anyone, know the price of favor that isn't free. The most expensive thing in the world is a free favor. From this moment on, audit your ledger. Identify who is holding a leash over you and find a way to cut it. Whether it's a professional thank you that needs to be finalized or a social obligation you need to decline, do it today. If this analysis opened your eyes, leave a comment below with the word autonomy. It tells me you're ready to stop being a pawn. For those who want to master the deeper layers of social engineering, watch our next video. I am the Archistrategist. Reclaim your leash. Build your empire. I'll see you in the next strategy session.